Hey there folks, Mantaray79 here, and today I'm back with another deck profile video for the Cardfight Vanguard trading card game. In today's video, the deck profile I'm going to be doing one for is V Standard formats, Dimension Police, Original Saver 0. Alright then, let's get started. Alright, first off, let's start with the cards in the main deck. The starting unit, Grade 0, Little Hero Draco Kid. The Grade 0, Little Hero Draco Kid, like any other starting unit in the V Standard format, he features only one skill. When written on top of, you get to draw one card, and if you're the second to ride to Grade 1, you can add a Quick Shield straight to your hand. Next, the Grade 1 lineup. For the Grade 1s in this deck, we have 4. Eye of Destruction Zeals. 4. Eternity Chasers. And 2. Dimensional Robo Dice Scoopers. That adds up to a total of 10 Grade 1s in this deck. The Grade 1, Eye of Destruction Zeal. His skill is, when placed on either the Vanguard circle or the Rearguard circle, you can then check the top 7 cards of your deck for a Grade 2 or greater card with the word Zeal in its name. Thanks to this skill, you'll have a better chance of getting the other 2 versions of Zeal into your hand for the later game. But you should also take note, Eye of Destruction Zeal's skill can only be used once per turn. So even if you manage to have multiple copies of Eye of Destruction in your hand, you won't be able to reuse the same skill twice or more. So you should just be wary of that. The Grade 1, Eternity Chaser. His skill is, when written on top of, by paying a cost of discarding 1 card from your hand, you can reveal 1 Grade 3 normal unit to your opponent. If you successfully revealed a Grade 3 to your opponent, you can then search your deck for any other Grade 3 other than the one that you revealed and add it straight to your hand. After that, shuffle your deck. Thanks to this skill, you'll pretty much be sure to get any Grade 3 you want that's gonna help you in your later strategy in the game. And he has one more skill. Eternity Chaser's Back Row Rearguard Circle skill. Whenever your opponent's rearguard attacks, if the attacking unit has 25,000 power or less, you can pay a Soul Blast, and retreating this card from your rearguard, you can choose one of your units and it cannot be hit until the end of the battle. Basically, Eternity Chaser is a perfect guard for rearguard attacks with 25,000 power or less. So he's pretty much a good defensive card to have for in case you're up against opponents who like to play the Excel circles and Excel clans and such. The Grade 1, Dimensional Robo Dice Scooper. His skill is, when written on top of, you can check the top 7 cards of your deck, and if a Grade 3 is among any of those cards, you can add 1 to your hand. Basically, he's a good way to add Grade 3s to your hand and a substitute Grade 1 Vanguard for either Eye of Destruction Zeal or Eternity Chaser. And he also has one more skill. When called onto the Rearguard circle, you can choose your Grade 3 Vanguard and it gets plus 5,000 power till the end of the turn. Alrighty, that just about covers it for the Grade 1 lineup of this deck. Next, let's go to the Grade 2 lineup. For the Grade 2s in this deck, we have 4. Devourer of Planets, Zeal. 4. Endless Floats. 3. Toxic Monster, Gel Sludge. And total, we have 11 Grade 2s in this deck. The Grade 2, Devourer of Planets, Zeal. Devourer of Planets skill is, as a Vanguard or a Rearguard, once per turn, you can pay 1 Counterblast and rest 2 of your own Rearguards. Doing so, your opponent's Vanguard will lose 5,000 power, and if Eye of Destruction is in your soul after having played this skill, you get to draw 1 card. So, Devourer of Planets' first skill will let you weaken your opponent's Vanguard and draw 1 card, as long as you have Eye of Destruction in the soul. And the best part is, this skill can be played as either a Vanguard or Rearguard, so you can still call this card to activate its skill and weaken your opponent, and you increase your hand size. And then, Devourer of Planets' second skill. When ridden on top of by a Grade 3, your opponent's Vanguard gets minus 5,000 power. So, overall, Devourer of Planets is a good card, since when either riding, calling, or being ridden on top of, you're pretty much almost guaranteed to be able to weaken your opponent's Vanguard however you play this card. The Grade 2, Endless Float. His skill is, when ridden on top of, you get to choose one of your Vanguards and it gets plus 10,000 power until the end of the turn. And then, by discarding 1 card from your hand, you can superior call Endless Float from your soul to your Rearguard. Doing so, your Vanguard will get an extra boost in power, and you'll have a Rearguard Endless Float ready to help you out. And then, Endless Float also has a second skill. As a Rearguard, when he attacks, if you've already placed a Grade 3 unit onto your field this turn, either by riding or calling, the attacking Endless Float gets plus 5,000 power till the end of the battle. Then, at the end of the battle, after having Endless Float attack, regardless if it hits or not, you can retire your Rearguard Endless Float to draw 1 card. So overall, his first skill lets you get power for your Vanguard and a Rearguard, and his second skill will make him a 15,000 power attacker and let you draw a card later. The Grade 2, Toxic Monster, Gel Sludge. His skill is, when placed on either the Vanguard circle or the Rearguard circle, if your opponent's Vanguard is Grade 2 or higher, you can then pay 1 Soul Blast to activate one of the effects. Your opponent must either pay 1 Counter Blast or let you draw a card, or he must either pay 1 Soul Blast or have one of his Vanguard's power reduced by 5,000. Either choice, your opponent will more or less disadvantage himself if he chooses to pay the cost or not. And Gel Sludge also has an additional effect. If your opponent's Vanguard is Grade 3 or higher, he must perform all of the cost as the card explained below. So he has to either pay a Counterblast to let you draw a card, or pay a Soul Blast to have his Vanguard weakened. So Gel Sludge's true power is more or less unleashed when your opponent's Vanguard is Grade 3 or above. And that just about covers it for this deck's Grade 2 lineup. Next, let's go to the Grade 3 lineup. For the Grade 3s in this deck, we have 4. Original Saver Zeros. 4. Galactic Beast Zeals. And 4. Black-clad top tier deity, Black. That adds up to a total of 12 grade 3s in this deck. The grade 3, Original Saver 0, the main card of this deck. Original Saver 0's skill is, when this unit attacks from the Vanguard circle or is ridden on top of, by paying 1 Counterblast and 1 Soul Blast, you can then draw 1 card and choose one of your opponent's units to either increase or decrease its power to 0 until the end of the turn. And then, Original Saver's second skill. As a Vanguard, once per turn, when this unit is attacked, by paying 1 grade 3 from your hand, you can choose to either increase or decrease the attacking unit's critical to 0 until the end of the battle. So ideally, despite having only 0 power himself, Original Saver is still a pretty good card to have, because as your Vanguard, he's got a pretty powerful attacking skill which lets you change your opponent's units, particularly his Vanguard, into 0 power, and as a pretty powerful defensive skill. When attacked, you can transform the attacking unit's critical to 0, so overall it's a pretty good card to have despite having no base power of its own. The grade 3, Galactic Beast Zeal. His skill is, when placed from your hand on either your Vanguard circle or Rearguard circle, you can take a look at the top of your deck and superior call it to the Rearguard circle. And then, if this card is on your Vanguard circle, choose one of your opponent's Vanguards and it loses 5,000 power for each imaginary gift marker on the opponent's circles. So, for his first skill overall, it's a pretty strong ability, since either by riding or calling, you can more or less get yourself an extra Rearguard on your field, and as a Vanguard, you can reduce your opponent's power by great numbers, depending on how many imaginary gifts he has. So ideally, it's good to use against opponents who like to use imaginary gifts Force, Excel, or Protect 2. And then, Galactic Beast is second skill. As a Vanguard, once per turn, you can pay 1 Counterblast and put 1 or more of your Rearguards into the soul. Then, choose your opponent's Vanguard, and until the end of the turn, it loses 10,000 power. And if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, and if Devourer of Planets Zeal is in your soul, your Vanguard Zeal gets +1 drive for every 2 cards put into your soul for this cost. So, basically, his second skill is pretty power-oriented, reducing your opponent's Vanguard's power and increasing your drive checks for if you have plenty of cards placed into your soul for this card skill. So, as a powerful card as it is, I say Galactic Beast Seal is amazing and good to have in your Dimension Police deck. And then, the grade 3, Black-clad top tier deity, Black. His skill is, as a Vanguard, once per turn, by paying 1 Counterblast, you can give 3 units in your front row plus 10,000 power until the end of the turn. Thus, as long as you have the cards to fill out your front row, thanks to Black's first skill, you'll be almost guaranteed to be able to make 3 attacks at least. And then, Black's second skill. As a Vanguard, after the battle this unit attacked, you get to check the top 7 cards of your deck, reveal 1 grade 3 among them, and add it to your hand. Then, after this second skill is activated, if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, by discarding 2 cards from your hand, you can superior call any other grade 3 besides Black from your hand as stand. Then, the superior ridden card gets plus 10,000 power and -1 drive. Ideally, you can use Black to superior ride either Original Saver Zero or Galactic Beast Zeal, since both their first skills are activated when you ride, so you'll be able to either increase, you can also either, decrease your opponent's Vanguard's power and or superior call at one more rear guard, thanks to Galactic Beast's first skill. Or you can also, use Original Saver's skill to reduce your opponent's Vanguard or any other unit to power of 0. So, yep. Ideally, you should usually ride Black and then attack with him, then use his second skill to superior ride either of these two to make a combo of either reducing power and maybe even superior calling one more card. So overall, Black is a great card to have for a Dimension Police deck, by my opinion. And with that, we've just about covered the Grade 3 lineup of this deck. Next, let's go to the trigger lineup. For the triggers in this deck, we have 4 Justice Cobalts, critical triggers. 4 Dimensional Robo Die Racers, critical triggers. 4 Diamond Aces, draw triggers. 4 Ultimate Salvation Combination, Adam Bullen, heal triggers. So for this trigger lineup, we have 8 critical triggers, 4 draw triggers, Diamond Ace, Sentinel, Perfect Guard, basically a perfect guard. So this when guarding an attack with this card, discarding 1, it's blocked. So yep, it's just like any other perfect guard. Like I mentioned, it's a absolute defense card. And then 4 Grade 3 Ultimate Salvation Combination, Adam Bullen, Heal Guardian. So, as I stated, he's a Heal Guardian. Basically, his skill is when placed on the Guardian Circle from hand, if you have not ridden the Grade 3 during the whole fight yet, you can choose one of the 2 effects. Choose one of your Vanguards. It gets plus 10,000 power till the end of the turn. So this first skill gives you a better chance of either blocking an incoming attack or stopping your opponent from rushing you early. And then there's the second effect. Choose one of your opponent's units. It gets -2 criticals until the end of the battle. So in case your opponent likes to rush you early with huge amounts of rear guards and critical, this is a good way to stop the finishing blow defensively. So, and then, let's see, then Adam Bullen has a second skill. When called onto the rearguard circle from your hand, if you have no cards in your damage zone, you can place the top card of your deck onto the damage zone. Basically, this final skill lets you stop any opponents who like to use a damage denial strategy, who like to prevent you from getting any counter blasts to use your skills. So, as a heal guardian and as a counter blast provider, Adam Bullen is a almost or absolutely necessary card to have in your Dimension Police deck. And with that, that covers the trigger lineup of this deck. 8 critical triggers, 4 draw triggers, 4 heal triggers. And finally, the G Zone. For the cards in this deck's G Zone, we have 1. Quick Shield, Dimension Police Clan Crest promo version, and 6 imaginary gifts. For the imaginary gifts, I have Force 1 and Force 2. So I'm pretty much using the special 2-sided imaginary gifts. In this deck, I have pretty much then 6 imaginary gift Force 1s and 6 imaginary gift Force 2s. And that just about covers it for this deck's G-Zone. And with that, that just about covers it for this whole deck then. So, first of all, I want to say thank you to the viewers for watching today's video, and I hope you all show your support by liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. And I also hope you all stay tuned for any more videos I plan to upload again in the near future. And with that, I say thank you and goodbye.